Bonjour tout le monde, Jen here. Today it's all about a summer soft glam sweat-proof makeup tutorial for oily skin people like me. We made it to 2K. I'm very happy. Thank you for everyone supporting me. I love every single one of you. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Now, first thing I'm going to do is my eyes. There's nothing sweat-proof about eyes. I do have oily eyelids, but one of my trick, well, that's how I always do my makeup. I will use some concealer as a eye base and right away go in with eyeshadows. But you can also set your eye base with some translucent powder or loose setting powders. To prime my eyelids, I will be using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer in the shade Honey. I'm gonna add a dot on my eyelids and blend this out right away. And the brush I'm using, it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills number 18 brush. I also use this brush to carve out my eyebrows. I'm gonna pat that in. This L'Oreal concealer is everything to me. I love how full coverage it is. I'm also going to give tips for hooded eyes people because I do have hooded eyes, and eyeshadow placement is very different for hooded eyes compared to people with normal eyelids. Grabbing a fluffy brush, this is the Morphe E17. I enjoy a warm eyeshadows, so first shade I'm gonna go in with is Mulberry. So what I'm going to do is I will place all this eyeshadow in my outer V, but tap it on my outer V first, and I'm also gonna go above my crease. This is the trick for hooded eyes, because if you only apply eyeshadows on your below your crease, we won't see anything. Yeah, so basically if we follow our natural crease line, it's gonna get hidden into the hooded part of our eyes. So that's why I go above almost to my brows, but not too much, because after we blending, it's gonna get to the brows. My trick for hooded eyes people, it's to not be scared to go towards your brows. Use all the space you have. Up until now, the only thing I did is tap the eyeshadow down, okay? So that's what you want to do, is tap, tap, tap. I'm not blending anything yet. My lips are feeling so dry. I'm gonna use my Honey Visage lip gloss. To keep this simple, I'm gonna use the same brush I have here. Usually I would switch brushes, but I wanna keep this beginner friendly. So next shade I wanna use is Sienna. I will use Sienna to blend the edges of Mulberry, the first brown shade I apply. So I'm gonna tap it in first on the edges, and once I pat it in, I will start blending. I'm also gonna drag this here. I'm kind of creating a crease, if that makes sense. So I'm going kind of close to my eyebrows, but not too close, because we want to blend this out later. So like that. So I'm going here, just here, you know. And with blending, I'm doing little circular motions and some wiping motions as well. See how soft this has gotten. Now, using again my E17 brush, I'm going back to Mulberry, the deep brown shade, and add it back in. Now it's time to add the eyelid shade. I'm going in with my Morphe M456. It's a tiny fluffy brush. I'm gonna mix burnt orange with tempera. This is burnt orange and this is tempera. And I will place this as my eyelid shade. Again, I do have another trick for hooded eyes. When you have hooded eyes, if you place the eyeshadow right away on your eyelid, just here, for me, it doesn't make the effect I would like to. I'm gonna leave that like that, and I'm going to show you on this eye here how I usually do it, and you tell me if you like it or if you like this one better, okay? So what I do is I place it on my eyelids, of course, but I'm gonna go above my eyelid, just above my crease, so we can see it when I open my eyes. That's the goal here. And I'm just gonna blend the edges of our new crease. Can you tell the difference already? Like, I like how open my eyes is looking here versus this one here. But it is up to you. If you prefer that look, you can go ahead and just apply the eyeshadow on your lid directly. If you prefer this side here, you just go above your natural crease. And voila, this is how I do my eyeshadows, because I like my eyeshadows to pop. So this is pretty much it for the eyes. It's time for the face. And what are my tips and tricks when it comes to keeping a matte face during summer? First thing I do, I will be using a mattifying primer. Today I have the NYX Angel Veil primer. It's pretty good at keeping my face matte. You need to apply this wherever your face gets super oily. And my T-zone is the oily area of my face. Gonna massage this into my skin. All right. The next step that is essential for oily skin is setting your primer using setting powder. I will be using the Maybelline Loose Finishing Powder. This one is in the shade Medium Deep 30, and I'm gonna use a sponge to pat this in on my skin. When you use setting powder to set your primer, what it does is that it's gonna lock in all the excess oil that's sitting on your face right now. So you're already getting rid of oils, and I'm using my SheGlam sponge. I will tap this wherever I put the primer. You can also press some on your brows. I do get oily brows. The struggle is real. Not only am I a sweaty human being, but I'm also extremely oily. Like, the struggle is real. Now that my primer is set, we're looking pretty ashy, but don't worry. Next thing I'm gonna do, I've learned that from Jackie Aina. I'm gonna use my setting spray to set all of this. This is gonna lock in all of this. And I will be using the Makeup Primer Spray by Skindinavia. This is a little bit expensive, but it works for me. And another alternative to that would be the NYX Matte Setting Spray. I use that a lot. We're just gonna spray our face. We're just gonna dry this down. My second trick, no, we're not at the second, we're at the third one. My third trick, in summer, I don't like the heaviness of the foundation on my skin because I'm oily, I'm sweaty, too much going on. So what I do is mix in some moisturizer to my foundation. So what this is gonna do is gonna make my foundation more on the natural side, and it's gonna be less full coverage. I do this technique only with medium to full coverage foundation. For moisturizer, I will be using my CeraVe facial lotion with FPS 30. And the foundation I will be using today is my all-time favorite drugstore foundation, full coverage and super mattifying, nothing else but the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation. This is the new version. It's the Activewear Super Stay Foundation. I did a review on it. You should check this out. Click on the card over here if you're interested after you are done watching this video here. But this is my foundation of choice. So what I'm going to do, I will show you on the back of my hand. I don't know why I keep doing all these stuff, but I don't know. ASMR. This one is in the shade 75 Mocha. Gonna use a pump for now. I'll always overdo it, and I'm gonna use just a tiny amount of the moisturizer. Mix it in. This is gonna become a less full coverage foundation. And I'm gonna apply this. And see, you can still see my imperfections, you know, but it feels super, super lightweight. And I'm also gonna use the foundation to snatch the upper part of my brows. I forgot to mention the brush I am using to apply my foundation is the Instapop Cheek Brush by Real Techniques. Now I'm gonna go ahead with a little bit of contour, and I will be using the L'Oreal Full Wear Concealer in the shade Expresso. My window is open, and so this is why you're seeing the sun. I'm gonna use my GCAT Beauty Pro Makeup Flat Angle Kabuki brush. I'm gonna go on my jawline. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I sweat so much on the nose, like on the bridge of my nose. I get little pearls of sweats. So for that reason, I don't like to do too much on my nose. For concealer, I'm using, again, the same concealer in the shade Honey. I'm using my little Morphe sponge. And I usually do that to get on the side of my nose before I will leave that like that, and it doesn't look cute, trust me. Just gonna add a little bit of walnut, just a little tad here. And whatever's left, I'm gonna stamp it on my forehead. Again, less is more. A little eye lift. And one trick I've been doing lately, because I have creases under my eyes, I'm gonna use this setting powder, right? And I go in with my fingers. I remove the creases first, and then I go in with my finger and pat the loose setting powder under my eyes. Does make a difference in my creasing. Now I can go with a brush. I'm using my Morphe E48 brush to set my highlighted areas using the Maybelline setting powder. And on my nose, that's the trick I was saying earlier. I use my setting powder and bake my nose. This helps me a lot with my nose being sweaty, oily, and stuff like that during summer. I leave that on my nose until I'm completely done. Now I will lightly set the rest of my face using, again, my Maybelline loose setting powder, but in the shade Dark 40. And I'm using a tiny amount. It's just to set, you know, whatever is not set yet. Where? Sometimes I'm mixing my French and my English together. C'est la folie. Une fois que je commence à parler un peu en français, c'est un truc de ouf. I'm gonna bronze a little. I will be using my Glamour Bronze by Morphe in the shade Leader. A little bit on my forehead. Now I do need a little bit of blush, so I'm going in with my Beauty of Colors Fearless Blush Palette, and I will be using the orange shade here. So I'm gonna wipe off the excess of baking from my nose. To set my face, I will be using the Scandinavia finishing spray. I will be using a little bit of highlighter. I'm using my BH Cosmetics pencil brush. This was my first brush set when I started makeup like 10 years ago, and it's still here doing its thing, you know. I'm gonna do a little bit here because it's summer and why not? Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm using the Patrick Store collaboration with MAC highlighter. And this is in the Baby It's Gold Outside. Yes, honey. I will be using my ColourPop BFF3 lip liner. And for gloss, I'm using my Juvia's Place lip gloss in the shade Sis. All right, you made it to the end of this summer soft glam sweat proof makeup tutorial for oily skin people. I hope all my tips and tricks will help you, even if it's for the eyes or only the face. I really hope it's gonna help you out. I hope this video was helpful. Please give it a big thumbs up if it did, and if you're not part of my family yet, subscribe and join the squad. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you all on my next one. À bientôt.
Ryan Little.